Joining me now is journalist and filmmaker Ami Horowitz. Ami, much of the world, including right here in Australia, they're all acting shocked by today's announcement, but none of this should be a surprise.
Yeah, no, it's not a surprise. Look, how I feel about this really depends on really what's going on, and it's not 100% clear exactly what the goal of the administration is. I think it will become clear over a period of time. It depends if it's tactical or strategic. What I mean by that is, if this is a tactic in order to get our partners to have fair trade, to stop dumping, to lower their tariffs, then I'm all for it. If it is strategic in the sense that this is a underpinning of a general economic philosophy, then we have a problem here. And I think I'm hearing mixed messages coming from the administration. So, look, take Asia, for example. If you're talking about tariffing China, right, that tariffs us, that dumps their steel here, I'm all for that. But then you look at the tariffs that we're putting on Japan and Taiwan, who have very low tariff rates on us. It doesn't make any sense, right? It's actually going to hinder trade with vital partnerships. If what Peter Navarro has been saying is in fact the philosophy of the administration, we have a problem. Peter Navarro is saying that there's an actual adoration for tariffs themselves. He's saying tariffs are a driver of revenue, a driver of jobs. It's going to cut our deficit. If that's actually the underpinnings of what they're doing, I'm not here for that. Okay. If this is an admiration for tariffs themselves as an economic policy, that's a no for me, dog, because all that's going to do is create neo-mercantilism. Again, trade is not a zero-sum game. We have to trade with our partners. So it all depends where it's coming from, to be honest, and I'm not sure where it is.
Interesting. Well, we'll soon find out. The Treasury Secretary has warned countries, though, around the world that if they want to retaliate, well, there will be consequences. He said if you retaliate, there will be escalation. So these are supposed to be reciprocal tariffs. And so if other countries want to increase their existing tariffs on the US, you can see the US raising theirs further. Let's move on to the another case of promises made, promises kept. You'd remember this exchange between the president and the governor of Maine.
Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well,
I'm here.
are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
Well, the Trump administration has followed through, announcing a pause and a review of federal funding to the state due to the governor's refusal to provide equal opportunities to women and girls in educational programs. USDA Secretary Brooks Rowland said the state must agree to protect female athletes from trans inclusion before funding is restored, Ami.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. Yeah, that exchange. I can listen to that exchange between him and the governor of Maine all the livelong day. I love that. And it clarifies so much. Rita, the Democrats continue to take the wrong side of 70-30 issues. They lost an election because they've learned absolutely nothing. They're still attacking Trump on immigration. Still, to this day. They are attacking his policies that the vast majority of Americans elected Trump on because they want it. But they're still getting this wrong. This is another issue of that. Americans do not want male athletes, biological males, competing against women in sports. It's unfair. It's actually physically dangerous, as we've seen. Yet they continue to back these insane policies. Look, if you're on the federal dole, right? If you are an individual, if you are a university like Columbia, or if you're a state like Maine, if you're taking money from the federal government, let me tell you something. You are opening yourselves up to having an issue, right? Look, if you don't want to take money from the federal government, do what you want. But if you are, you better comply and toe the line of the executive branch who's pushing a certain policy. particularly one that most Americans care about. And the irony of all of this is that Title IX, which was created primarily to protect female sports, was created primarily by the left. In fact, I remember when Title IX first happened, people on the right actually were complaining about it. Yet these are the people, the left, who are trying to hollow out the meaning of what female is in general. And they're doing the opposite of protecting female sports. They're trying to destroy it altogether. It is crazy, and they can continue to lose elections if they continue to go this direction.
Absolutely. Now, Ami, you yourself have been filming in Palestinian territories in the West Bank city of Ramallah. And you asked in this next clip questions of young men about their thoughts on October 7. Let's see if they have learned anything from the catastrophe that has befallen Gazans since that attack.
Are you proud of October 7th?
He's pro, and he says God bless them and may they have victory.
Are you proud of what happened October 7th?
Of course. Of course.
Perfect.
Are you willing to have what happened in Gaza happen here?
Yes, it's worth it.
It's a sacrifice worth paying.
Yes, it's sacrifice.
Ami, that is terrifying, but sadly not all that surprising.
Yeah, look, I went to the West Bank. So I want to see, look, we obviously saw what happened in Gaza, right? A continued retaliatory war against Hamas and the Palestinians in Gaza, who inflicted the deaths and the destruction and the mayhem, the barbarity of October 7th. They learn anything? Was it a lesson learned? That's what I wanted to find out. And honestly, oftentimes when I go and do these videos, you know, I've done them long enough where I pretty much know what my subjects are going to say to me, right? I know the mind, the left, or the Islamic mind. And in this case, actually, Rita, I got to be honest, I wasn't sure. I thought, look, they've seen what happened with Gaza, the destruction that happened to Gaza because they struck against Israel in such a terrific, horrible way. In their word, the one guy who was terrific. So I want to, do you want to continue the policy of Hamas here in the West Bank? And do you want to have more October 7th? Do you want to slaughter more Jews, more innocent Israelis? And then B, what I want to know is, did you learn a lesson? Are you scared? Are you willing, I actually asked them this, are you willing to sacrifice your cities in the West Bank, like what happened in Gaza, in order to kill innocent civilians? And I actually thought they might have said yes. You know what? Look, as much as we hate Jews and hate Israelis, we didn't realize that, well, if you're going to do this, you're going to pay a significant price.
Yeah.
But what I found out was the vast majority of everybody I spoke to under 40, I focus on young people, they also they were willing to sacrifice tens and tens of thousands of their own people in order to kill more Jews and more Israelis. It was unfortunate.
This is what's terrifying, Ami. This is what's terrifying. They can see that destruction in Gaza, and it still isn't enough to sway them against this mindset. Ami Horowitz, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Always a pleasure.